has increased since the 1950s. In 1950, 1 out of every 3 women participated in the workforce. By 1998, nearly 3 out of every 5 women were in the workforce. Out of women 16 years and older, 33.9% participated in the workforce in 1950, and in 59.8% in 1998. Women are projected to amount for 51% of the increase in the total labor force growth between 2008 and 2018. In 2010, there were 123 million women 16 years and older in the workforce. Out of that 123 million, 72 million, or 58.6%, were labor force participants. The unemployment rate in 2010 for all women was 8.6%, while for men it was 10.5%. Some occupations where women make up the majority of the employed include registered nurses at 91.1%, elementary and middle school teachers at 81.8%, medical and health service managers at 72.5%, psychologists at 66.7%, tax examiners at 66.1%, education administrators at 63%, accountants at 60.1%, and medical scientists at 53.7%. And then in 2012, there were 127.1 million women 16 years and older in the United States. Out of that 127.1 million, 72.2 million women were workforce participants.
So I'm going to talk a little bit more about equal pay for women and closing the wage gap. In the last decade, there's been little progress in gender integration in the workforce. This means that there's been a smaller amount of women moving into job industries that are dominated by men. For example, there's been a smaller amount of women leaving occupations such as being in education or nurses and moving into fields like engineering and construction. This promotes the wage gap because of the natural segregation between men and women. So in jobs that men dominate, women are paid less because there aren't as many around. According to the data collected by the IWPR, the poverty rate for women would drop by 50% if the wage gap was closed. This isn't even taking in the factor of what would happen if both the race and gender wage gap was closed, because there is even a wage gap in between what an African American woman makes and what a white woman makes. And also there was a study done in that over a course of a 40-year career, it is believed that women would lose up to $435,000. That is a high number, and that's just should not be acceptable. Also, according to the IWPR, the higher of an education a woman has, the greater the wage gap is. So for example, if a man and a woman both have a bachelor's degree, the wage gap it's there, but it's not as bad as what would happen if a man had a master's degree and a woman had a master's degree. The greater the education they have, the less chance they have of making equal pay. And women earn less in almost every occupation, including education, which was quite a shock to my research because women dominate the field of education. And in a year, women lose about $10,784 to men because of the wage gap. And mostly the wage gap should just be unacceptable because men and women are both doing the same job, and it's not right for men to make more money than women.
It is a fact that women receive more college and graduate degrees than men, yet women continue to earn considerably less than men. Female full-time workers made only 78 cents for every dollar earned by men. That is a gender wage gap of 22%. That disparity leads to over $431,000 in lost wages for an individual woman over her lifetime. You can feed a family for over 37 years with that money. A woman can also use that money to get 7 degrees at a 4-year public university. This disparity just makes a huge difference in a person's life. Also, on average, the pay gap between men and women increases with age, so as women get older, the pay difference gets greater. Then some people may say, why can't women just ask for a pay raise? Well, sometimes asking isn't enough. The issue is more complicated than simply asking or not asking for a raise. Research has shown that gender biases in the workplace may very well contribute to the problem. A survey of more than 30,000 people, and by pay scale, found that among those with MBAs, 63% of men asked for a raise versus just the 48% of women with MBAs. The catch is, of those who asked, women were declined the raise 21% of the time, while men were only told no 10% of the time.
A lot of the changes that need to happen in the workforce must come from legislators. But for now, here are a few things women can do to take initiative in the workplace. 1. Be more open to career risks. When you're offered an opportunity, take it. Instead of thinking, I'm not ready to do that, think, I want to do that and I'll learn a lot by doing it. Reach for leadership roles even if you're only 60% ready. After all, that is what men do. 2. Stop trying to please everyone. Having the desire to be liked by everyone will hold you back in the workforce because it'll be more difficult to challenge others' ideas with your ideas. 3. Visualize your career as a jungle gym, not a ladder. Ladders are limiting, while jungle gyms offer a lot of room for creativity and expansion. There are many ways to get to the top of a jungle gym, while there is only one way to get to the top of a ladder. 4. Make goals for yourself. Everyone should have long-term goals, but you should also have an 18-month or less plan to pursue immediate workplace goals. Ask yourself, what can I do to improve myself at work?